Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. What's the real risk of holding XRP? Like, when will we reach a point this market cycle where if you don't sell XRP, you're seriously going to regret it because it's going to tank? Like, what's functionally going to happen? Because I'm going to start with the premise that we all understand and agree that market cycles exist. I'm going to assume that at least the majority of us understand that last market cycle, a tremendous bubble inflated and then popped. And I'm going to assume that we can agree that it's likely something along those lines is going to occur again. And it doesn't mean that there's something fundamentally wrong with the crypto asset class or XRP specifically. Bubbles in and of themselves, that it just on its own in a vacuum, a bubble does not indicate that something is wrong or bad or a scam. It's simply not the case. You get bubbles in every single asset class, from stock markets, real estate, with precious metals, crypto. They happen. They just do. And so I wanted to share with you a new thought. I came up with a new way of approaching this. I want to ask you a question. Seriously, because especially if you're one of the people that you that you see this market volatility and you start freaking out, I've got a question for you. I really do, and I mean this. It's something where I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. And when I say I'm asking you this question, I legitimately want to hear from you in the comment section. I very much legitimately want to hear from you what you think about this, what your answer is in the comment section. I'm not saying this in any sort of like smug way or anything like that, or not asking the question in any sort of smug way. But I'm coming from a position where I sleep easy every single night, and I've been in crypto for about 3.5 years. Do you understand how much volatility has occurred over the last 3.5 years? I mean, and I'm estimating. So I've been here since November 2017, so about 3.5 years, right? So, like, I sit here thinking, like, if I didn't firmly believe what I believe, I don't know how I'd make it more than like half of a week in crypto without panicking and getting wrecked and exiting. I don't know. So I do want to be clear, look, at the outset here, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto, but that is all that it is. I fully recognize that investing in crypto is risky. The fact that somebody can have confidence about something to the point where they're not scared, like which is the case for me, that in and of itself is not an indication that they are right. I could be absolutely wrong about the way I'm approaching this, and I could lose everything I've invested. So I'm willing to admit that too. But I do think that having the conviction that I have actually functionally matters, because without feeling this way, I think that I would have made very emotional and poor decisions by now. And so here's a tweet that I've been sharing. I've shared it, 2 or 3 times in recent days. It's a short tweet, but I have a new piece to this that I want to add to this. But here's the tweet. I wrote the following just a couple days ago. I believe that understanding how last market cycle unfolded and that it's behaviorally very similar this cycle is some of the most valuable information a crypto holder can possess. Every large and mid-cap coin popped last time, literally. Why stress over pullbacks if we're not there yet? And so because look, to make sure that everybody understands what I'm stating here, is that humans are behaving this market cycle the same way they did last market cycle. And I understand that there's a whole lot of emotional buying and selling. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's not about fundamentals. Humans are not investing in crypto by and large, very small percentage anyway, maybe are, but humans by and large are not investing in cryptocurrencies, including XRP, based on fundamentals. So I care about fundamentals. Perhaps you do too. The market doesn't. That's why everything pumps. Literally, last market cycle, every mid and large cap coin went parabolic. And roughly within the same time frame. The reason that happened is because money was cycling through the crypto asset class, from Bitcoin to large cap to mid cap coins. Small cap coins, right? That's why. It's not that everybody all of a sudden was like, oh, this coin, oh, this is a great idea. Look at this is going to be here forever. And then the next coin, oh, this one's a great idea too. And then a week later, oh, this one's also fantastic. No, it wasn't any of that. It's people just looking for opportunity to make a quick buck on people that don't know what the hell that they're doing, because they're unsophisticated investors that don't understand the way that market participants tend to behave. And you get eaten alive if you don't know what the hell's going on here. And so there are so many people that hold XRP. And so many of them have these emotional responses. And so if you're one of those, I'm not being critical of you. I'm just acknowledging what is reality. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It makes you normal, actually. If you're, I'm the weird one. I don't respond that way. So you're normal. But I still don't think that it's a good thing to be normal in that way in this market. And so what I want to ask you here is, because it has to do with the last question, the question that I ended up posing in that tweet even. Why stress over pullbacks if we're not there yet? So just logically think through this with me, okay? If you're not if you don't believe what I'm saying, and you don't have to, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't have the same outlook on this as me, this idea that every single coin's going to pop, because I firmly believe that they will, and I say I'm talking about large and mid cap coins, because I literally checked every single one of those manually myself. I did. I mean that. I literally did. Small cap coins, I think they all pretty well rallied too, but there's so many thousands. Yeah, admittedly, I didn't check all of those, so I don't know for sure if it's true with literally 100% of them. But for large and mid cap coins, literally every single one of them went parabolic. This is a fact. And so given that I see humans behaving this market cycle the same way pretty well that they did last market cycle, that gives me a high level of confidence that XRP and everything else is going to, at some point, and I don't know exactly when it'll be, I just believe that it's eventually going to happen, and I'm just patiently waiting here. So my question is, do you also believe that? If you do believe that, and then the follow-up question is, so if you do believe that, then why are you emotionally responding negatively, if you are, when we see downward price action? Why are you freaking out? If you don't believe that every single cryptocurrency is at some point in the future going to go parabolic this market cycle, like, how do you sleep at night? I would be potentially terrified. Like, I think well, think about it. And I need to flesh this out a little bit further too. But if you don't share that belief with me, and again, I could be wrong about this. I'm sharing just because I firmly believe it doesn't mean I'm right, but I do firmly believe it. I do absolutely think that humans are behaving the same, and that everything's going to pop that's a mid and large cap coin, with no exception. But if you don't believe that, how can you be in this space? Because it's got to be scary, because you don't know when the bubble's going to pop. And so for me, like, if I didn't know to watch for that indicator, I'd be a bit more nervous, I think. Not having any sort of reasonable understanding of when the bubble's going to pop, because I'm not a chart analyst. The vast majority of you listening have no idea how to read a damn chart, and that's fine. I don't even want to learn. Like, to me, that's just legitimately not interesting. I like researching fundamentals and tracking news and making YouTube videos. I don't like chart analysis. It doesn't strike me as fun. I don't want to do it. But I can look for this indicator, and I can still track what other analysts are saying anyway, and I do. But if I really didn't think this is going to happen, I just don't know how I'd sleep at night. So I'm asking you out there, and please comment on this. Like, if you do believe this, again, why are you scared? And if you don't believe it, and you don't have sufficient confidence, how are you even operating in this space? Because I'm telling you, for me, like, I would not be as easy about this if I didn't firmly believe this. Whether my conviction is rightly or wrongly placed, I would be having an emotional, like, hell of a time if I didn't believe that. Now, for me, though, I will say this too, because I was thinking about this hours ago as I knew I was going to make a video about this. I was thinking through it, and I'll acknowledge this as well. Even if I'm wrong about this, and we don't see every single mid and large cap coin rally, meaning, like, what if we already saw the high this market cycle for XRP, which I do not believe. I mean, we hit $2 roughly. That's I can't imagine. that would be ridiculous. But okay, let's say that we already saw the high this market cycle for XRP, and it was about $2, and now we're just going to go into bear mode. Again, I don't believe this, but let's just, hypothetical. If that were to happen, I still don't believe that it's the end of the crypto asset class. I still don't believe it's the end of XRP, so I would wait for the next market cycle. I just would. And so, like, for me, once I thought through it even further, I was, because my initial thought, like I just said a minute ago, is like, maybe I would be having, like, a little bit emotional trouble, but then I'd be freaking out about things. Like, what if we already saw the top and I didn't take anything out? Maybe. But on the flip side, I also know that either I'm right about where this is going to ultimately go, or it's not, in terms of hitting all-time highs and entering a new realm of price discovery, or I'm wrong. And so, even if it didn't go this market cycle, which I do not believe will be the case, I think it's going to rocket personally. But even if, I'd still hold it. Like, I just hold until next market cycle, because I am Mr. Patient, and no one's going to outpatient me. But there are so many people that aren't willing to wait that long. Or maybe you did put in more money than you're actually willing to lose. I hope you didn't, but if you did, that's going to make it that much harder. Or do you have the patience to wait another half a decade if necessary? I mean, I do. I personally do. And I don't think it's coming to that. But do you? And this is my question. I want to know how you people out there that are emotionally responding like this. And again, I'm not coming at it from a smug point of view. I want to know. I want you logically think through this and validate your own position. Like, why are you here? You know what I mean? I think it's useful though, and that's the reason that I'm making a video about this. I think it's useful for you to take a moment to take inventory of emotionally what's going on and why you're here, what you believe. Have you even thought about it in these terms? Like, if you are one of these people that's emotionally responding like this, well, think through it. Like, what would it take for you to not feel like that? And if you're that uncertain, my gosh, it's got to be terrifying for people. And I think if you could just take a few minutes to flesh through it, maybe you could help remove some of that emotion from this, because the emotion is what gets people wrecked, absolutely wrecked. And that's the reason that I wanted to make a video where I was talking about this. And it's well known that emotion is what leads to the downfall of so many investors in the stock market, in the world of crypto. It's not a question. So, in fact, here's a headline from Crypto Newsflash. Are you losing money in this crypto crash? Market analyst Lark Davis has tips for you. And there's only a couple parts of this I wanted to highlight, but a couple of parts of this that I am going to highlight make a ton of sense to me. And so take a look at this. In about 2 weeks, the crypto market came from a full-blown bullish trend to shedding over $260 billion. Bitcoin, in particular, was 10 days ago trading at all-time highs above $64,500. At the time of press, the largest digital asset has dipped under $50,000. Volatility characterizes the crypto market. For those involved in the market in 2017, this is old news. But for new investors involved with the market within the last 6 months, most are in shock. Exactly. That's, again, a big part of the reason I want to talk about this. And even if you're like me and you've been around for a number of years, it's still an interesting topic of conversation here for sure. And so in looking at this, I mean, think about that pullback. You know for sure people are flipping out. They're losing their ever-loving minds right here. And so how can these people possibly, did they even sufficiently think through it? Did they think that, because if you look back at the chart history, you can see historically how the crypto asset class has behaved for 12 years. Extremely volatile. Did you think that was going to stop? Did you think it was going to stop when you entered? Do you think that when you purchased something, it would never go below that ever again? That's not, that wouldn't be a position based in reality. And so it's not about that. See, the thing is, it's not about logic for these people. It's about the emotions hitting regardless of logic. And I'm trying to encourage people to differentiate between the two and don't act based on emotion. Make your own buying and selling decisions, or whether or not you're going to hold. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but don't do it based on the emotional side of this. And so take a look at this. HODL. Research shows that an overwhelming majority of traders lose 90% of their accounts in the first 3 months. Did you hear that, guys? 90% of their accounts are lost. Traders. So if you're a trader, you think you're going to time the markets, you're going to make these savvy moves. Well, you're not. The data shows that you're going to lose 90% of your accounts in the first 3 months. You're going to get wrecked. Most traders try to maximize profits by day trading, which has proven ineffective, more so, dealing with highly volatile markets such as cryptocurrencies. However, holding in the long term is a successful strategy. Those who have kept Bitcoin for more than a year have always turned a profit. Lark himself admits he only makes a few trades a month. So there you go. Trying to get into the nitty-gritty is going to get you wrecked. But so then it goes to, if you're going to be a long-term holder, how do you emotionally even get through that? And so you got to ask yourself what you believe. Do you believe these things? Do you believe that it's actually going to be worth more? And if you do, why are you freaking out? And if you don't believe it, why are you even here? These are questions you should be asking yourself, right? And take a look at this. This is amazing to me. In a video just the other day, I highlighted the cryptocurrency market fear and greed index, and at the time it was at 37 out of 100, indicating that things are pretty fearful. Just a day has passed, roughly. And it's worse. People are even more fearful. Look at this. it's down to 27, meaning more fearful. The lower the number, the more fear. The higher the number, the more greedy people are feeling. And there are numbers I'm not going to explain in this video, but they on this website they explain the metrics they track and making up formulating these numbers. But you must understand that when there's extreme fear, usually that indicates an opportunity to purchase. And when there's extreme greed, you're going with the flock again, if you're feeling that way. And that could be a time that the market's just overheated and about due for a correction. All right. And so it might sound counterintuitive, but typically doing the opposite of what the masses are doing is typically the wiser move. Like there's data to indicate this is true. And so look at how fearful things are right now. It's at a 27. We haven't been at that level since the end of April of last year, 2020. And you know what was going on a year ago. There's scary times, right? And in March is when we had the huge, the stock market just completely tanked. The crypto market tanked. I want to say it was like March 12th. And things, the scariness persisted, for well beyond that. So we haven't seen this level of fear since then. So I don't know for sure if the market's going to go lower from this point. We'll see. Things are volatile. But I'm just saying, historically, when you see this, maybe it keeps going down for a while longer. But even if it goes lower, like this is where people that want to invest, like if they understand how markets move, you recognize that you could dollar cost average in. So even though people are fearful now, and like you could purchase and it could go lower, it doesn't mean it could be a local low, basically, is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is you're not going to time the bottom no matter what. Like that's a virtual certainty. You're not going to be able to time the bottom. So if you buy now, it's a virtual certainty that at some point in the future, whatever you purchase today will be worth at some point in the future less than what you paid for it, because you cannot time the bottom. You're not capable of that. And you need to be aware of that as well. Like it's not going to happen. Same is true for when you want to sell. You're not going to be able to sell the top. Good luck finding that. Yeah, we'd all love to magically do that. And that's why for me, I'm just going to reduce my risk exposure to crypto as prices increase over time. So anyway, just to kind of sum this all up, like I sleep easy at night because whether I'm right or wrong, and I admit I could be wrong, I still feel very strongly. And if I didn't feel strongly about this, I just don't know how I could function on a day-to-day basis. So if you're one of these people that's emotionally having trouble, maybe take inventory of what you really believe and then try and use that what you believe to be true. Just try and use that to just throw out the rest of the emotion that could make you make poor decisions. Because if you're going to buy or sell, you make your own calls. I can't tell you what's right for you, and I'd never presume to do that. But making important financial decisions based on what you emotionally feel in the moment sounds like a terrible idea. Do you agree with that? Can't it just be based on logic and data and, what you believe to be true, this or that, your convictions? Doesn't that make more sense than scary sounding news headlines, which may or may not be an indication of what's to come? Like, to me, that makes a whole bunch more sense. And so for me, given that I firmly believe we will see XRP hit its all-time high and enter a new realm of price discovery, since I firmly believe that to be the case, because I believe that to be the case because I see humans behaving the same as last time. Because I believe that, I sleep easy every single night. I also only invested what I'm willing to lose in case I'm wrong. And I'd be disappointed if I ended up being wrong, if I were proven me wrong as time passed. Yeah, it'd be disappointing, but I'd live. Life would go on. I wouldn't be completely destroyed, So, you guys tell me what you think. I don't know if this, I'm hoping, I'm doing my best here. I'm hoping that this maybe added a little bit of a different perspective, or at least a little bit of a different way to look at this, because I know that so many of you listening are having those troubles. So many of you are new to crypto. And again, it doesn't mean you're weak or stupid, and this isn't some sort of mean critique. It's an acknowledgement that we as humans, and I'm a human too, like we can have trouble with things in life emotionally and on like an array of different topics. And it's easy to get emotionally eaten up when it's our hard-earned money that's at stake. That just makes you normal. So I think it's worth having these discussions to figure out what we can do to remove ourselves from that place. Because that's not you don't want to live like that. You want to be freaking out about every downward movement in crypto for the whole time you're in crypto. I can't imagine if I had been living like that the last 3.5 years. I'd be miserable. So again, whether I'm right or wrong about what I think and hope is going to happen, set that aside. At least I don't have that. At least I'm not living in fear and misery every single freaking day, right? So there we are. But please, I really would love to hear from you. I'm not just saying that. I really would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let's get some discussion going out. Do you think that I'm right in my general approach or wrong? I love diversity of thought here, so even if you think that I completely bombed here, just let me know why, articulate your position, and I'm always willing to be persuaded, because there's no way I'm right about everything that I believe, and that's true for you too, so I always want to keep an open mind. Even if I firmly believe something, I always want to allow for the possibility that I'm wrong, because I just want to believe as many true things as possible. So if I'm way off base on something, or even a little off base, whatever, or if you can articulate to me why it doesn't make sense for me to believe what I do believe, well, I want to know that. I want to be wrong about fewer things. So yeah, just articulate the case and let's have adult conversations about it. It's interesting, and I think it's just the right way to go about and just kind of evolve your thinking on any number of topics. That's just the way that I approach stuff in life in general. So I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.